Hey, welcome back. Hope everyone's having a good start to your week. If you went back to school or if you have kids who went back to school, hope everything is going well there. It's always a exciting and stressful week when that happens. But today we're going to focus on the RBT exam and continue our practice question series. We're on part 30, where I'm going to go through 10 practice questions from the RBT exam, break them down, how I think about it, and how I think you should think about it when you're taking your actual exam. So if you are enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. If you're looking for our study materials, please check out our website, rbtexamreview.com, or our shop, gumroad.com/rbtexamreview. We offer 2 practice exams, a full task list study guide, a combo pack that comes with everything and flashcards, which is our best deal, and then our competency study guide for both your initial and renewal. So check those out. Any questions or comments, please leave them below or email me. I'm happy to help. Other than that, let's keep working hard and get into our questions. Okay, question 1. Your supervisor asks that you assist with an intake assessment at a new client's home. When you arrive at the home with your supervisor starts making small talk with the client's parents. Your supervisor gets to know the client and starts developing a relationship with them. Another term for what your supervisor is doing is what? Okay, very important part of the ABA process. Remember, ABA is a long-term thing. It's not a quick fix. Sometimes you're with families 3, 4, 5 years, okay? ABA is never a quick thing. If someone tells you ABA is quick, it's only gonna take 3, 4, 5 months, okay? I would recommend going somewhere else, okay? Is never quick. So if we're going to have this long-term bond and relationship with the client, okay, we need to develop that relationship into a good one. So that's what the supervisor is doing here from the beginning, right? Starting off on the right foot. What's another term and one we use in ABA and what you should be doing as an RBT, what you should be doing as a supervisor? What are you doing when you're developing these relationships with your clients? Are you A, building rapport? Yes, right? So that's what this is called, okay? When we say we need to build rapport with clients, this is what we're talking about. We want to start developing this relationship, this long-term relationship of understanding and trust, okay? When you have that, services are better, everybody's more on the same page, okay? It's easier to communicate, and you want to do that from the beginning. So another term for what the supervisor is doing is building rapport. Okay, we know the answer, but let's read the rest of our answer choices always. Is this a direct assessment? No. What's a direct assessment? A direct assessment is when you're directly observing the client and their behavior. We're not observing the client here, okay? We're just building rapport with them. C, ecological assessment. An ecological assessment is observing the environment, right? What is the environment around the client? It's not what we're doing here, right? We're building rapport. And then finally, D, dual relationship. What's a dual relationship? That's when a personal and professional line is crossed. The secret to rapport is not crossing that line, okay, but still developing a good relationship, okay? And that's kind of a skill that you're going to have to develop, all right? So what we did here was we built rapport. Question 2, based on the graph below, how would you describe the trend of the data? Okay, pretty easy graphing question. I always tell you, graphing questions are not hard on the exam, okay? They're not intended to be difficult because graphing is not difficult, okay? You're going to use a line graph 99.9% of the time you're graphing, okay? This is a line graph. All you're doing is putting dots, right, on the corresponding numbers and then visually analyzing the graph. So we want to know the trend. What is the trend? Well, it's what way and how the data is moving. Is the data moving up? Is the data moving down? Is it not moving at all? What is it doing? Well, what is our data doing here? Well, we start at 8, go to 7, 7, 4, 3, 2, 1. What are we doing? Our data is trending downward, right? This is a decreasing trend, okay? An increasing trend is just the opposite, right? If this graph was flipped, we would have an increasing trend. And then a no trend, when there's no trend, what's happening? Well, simply no trend, right? That would be like 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, right? The data isn't moving one way or another. It's just staying flat, okay? Graphing questions, Very simple. Again, quick review. Y-axis is behavior. X-axis is time. Okay. We have trend, we have variability, we have level. Okay. The variability of this data, okay, is very stable, right? It's a very stable data path. Okay. When the data is moving all around, then we call it, and it's not so, and then it's not, and then it's variable, right? This is not variable. Okay. Simply put, all you're doing is analyzing the graph, okay, and doing what the data tells you. Okay. Don't overcomplicate the graphing questions. 3, after 3 sessions with your client, you determine that Joey is reinforced by sour Skittles, but not by verbal praise. You want praise to act as a reinforcer. Which of the following strategies is likely the best one to use? Okay, I've used a very similar question recently. It's because I've been getting some feedback on this type of intervention. Okay, people have been asking about this intervention. Okay, how do we take something that's not a reinforcer and we make it a reinforcer? Okay, because remember, what do we want to do? We want these naturally occurring reinforcers like praise to act as a reinforcer. Okay, Skittles might not always be around. Skittles might not always be the healthiest option. Okay, so we need something that's always available and available naturally to act as a reinforcer, and that's praise. Okay, so that's what we want to do. How do we get Skittles and praise, okay, together to make praise that reinforcer? Which of the following strategies is likely the best one to use? A, continue giving praise to Joey when he engages in target behaviors until praise becomes a reinforcer. No, this is a big no-no in ABA, okay? Where you're just continually doing something over and over again, just hoping it works, okay? We don't want to do that in ABA, right? We want to do it systematically. We want to do it empirically. We want to make good data-driven decisions, and continuing to just drill praise to Joey and just praying that it becomes a reinforcer is not the right way to go about it. Okay, so A is out. B, since you just started working with Joey, only use Skittles to ensure you are changing the target behavior. Oh, right. So what this is saying is, since we just started and we want to see progress quickly, we're going to make sure we're only using Skittles, okay, to change that target behavior. But let's say after the 3 sessions, Joey decides he doesn't like Skittles anymore. Okay. Now we're back at square one. We have no other reinforcers. What are we going to do? Okay. The earlier you can identify multiple reinforcers, the easier it is to change behavior. Okay. When you only have one reinforcer, you always run the risk of them satiating on the reinforcer, losing its reinforcing properties, you not having it available. It's a very dangerous game when you only have one reinforcer. You want to have multiple whenever possible. C, when Joey engages in the target behavior, give Joey praise and Skittles. Yes, what are we doing here? We're pairing praise with Skittles. Okay, we're trying to take that reinforcing properties of Skittles, transfer them to praise, and make praise a conditioned reinforcer. Okay, that's the entire idea, right? That's why when we deliver praise, we also deliver reinforcers to make praise reinforcing. C is likely the best answer, okay, at least so far. Let's read D. You need to find a different reinforcer. Edibles are not good reinforcers. No, edibles are actually very good reinforcers. They're very strong reinforcers. There are just some ethical concerns around reinforcement, unhealthy reinforcement, and then it become very difficult to fade out sometimes, okay? So we have to be careful with them, but edibles are very strong reinforcers. So the answer here is C. When Joey engages in the target behavior, we want to give Joey praise and then the Skittles, trying to make praise that naturally occurring reinforcer. Okay, 4. Every morning, Jack wakes up before his girlfriend, Jill. Jack knows Jill enjoys fresh coffee in the morning. Jack doesn't mind making the coffee, but he hates waiting for his water to boil. Jack knows it takes 4 to 6 minutes for his water to start boiling every morning. Which of the following reinforcement schedules represent the water starting to boil? Okay, what are we asking about here, right? There's a lot going on. Remember, always just answer what the question is asking. What does the question want to know? The question wants to know what reinforcement schedule is the water boiling on, okay? So when is Jack reinforced for the water boiling, okay? Well, it says right here, it takes 4 to 6 minutes for the water to start boiling every morning, Okay, so if we look at our answer choices, well, they make it easier on us for one, right? Because we know it's an interval, right? Why is an interval? Because it's time. Okay, ratio is response, interval is time. So that one is easy. Now we need to figure out, are we looking at a fixed interval or a variable interval? And what is a fixed interval? A fixed interval doesn't change, right? It's steady, it's constant. If the water boiled at the same rate, okay, or in the same time frame every single morning, that would be fixed. So if it said Jack knows it takes 4 minutes for the water to start boiling, that's fixed. But it's not fixed, right? Because we have 4 to 6 minutes. It can be 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. We're unsure. That's variable, right? So now we know it's a variable interval. So is it going to be C or D? Is it 5 minutes or 6 minutes? Well, what is variable interval? What is the technical term for that? Okay, well, it's an average. When we talk about variable, we're talking about on average. So on average, right, 4 to 6 minutes, 4 plus 6 is 10, 10 divided by 2. On average, it takes 5 minutes for his water to start boiling every morning. So C, variable interval, 5 minutes is our answer. Okay. If you don't understand how I got there, go back, review basic reinforcement schedules. Okay. Fixed intervals, fixed ratios, variable intervals, variable ratios. Understand what makes something fixed, what makes something variable. Then come back to this question and work it out for yourself. Not a difficult question, but a question that's really testing that okay, these basic reinforcement schedules. And that's what the test does. The questions aren't overly difficult, but they really do test. Do you know these terms and definitions? Okay, that's what they want to figure out. All right, school started Monday in Nevada. Miss Ryan wants to get an idea of how long it takes for all her students to get into her classroom, put their things away, and sit at their desk. What type of measurement will be best for Miss Ryan? Okay, what are we measuring here? We're measuring time. Are we measuring a count? Are we measuring the time in between things? Okay, start asking yourself these questions when we're talking about measurement. Okay, it's going to help you get to the right answer. Well, Miss Ryan wants to know how long does it take, okay, for her class to get settled, right? They get in the classroom, put everything away, sit at their desk, calm down, okay? How long does that take? So what are we looking at? Well, we're looking at a total time here, right? We want to know the total time it takes for them to get settled in. So A, will we use frequency? No. What is frequency? Frequency is a count. It's how many times something is occurring. Are we counting anything? Are we looking at how many times something is occurring? No, right? We're looking for a time here. B, duration. Duration would be good, right? We can time, how long it takes from the time they get to the classroom to get to their desk, right? What is that total time period? Okay. Maybe it takes 5 minutes for all the students to get in, put their things away, sit at their desk, maybe 10 minutes. Okay. When we get the duration of that, okay, now we know how long it takes for class to get started or settled and started. Okay. Duration is good. To read all our answer choices, right? Always read the rest of the answer choices and know why they're wrong. C, IRT, inter-response time. Are we measuring the time in between two behaviors? No, right? We're not measuring the time between response A and B, okay? We're measuring a total time here, okay? C is out. And then D, whole interval sampling. Are we sampling one interval, right? No, right? Because we need this entire continuous time, right? We're continuously taking data, no matter how long it takes for them to get settled, okay? We're continuously tracking that entire behavior, okay? Whole interval would be an interval broken up into small chunks, right? That's not what we're doing here. We're taking duration data on the entire time it's taking them to get settled. So the answer here is B. Greg decided he would not drink alcohol during the weekdays. The only time he allows himself to drink is Friday night and Saturday. Greg's urges to drink on Friday and Saturday are now even greater than before. This is most likely due to what? Okay, so oftentimes we talk about, right, satiations and deprivations and things in terms of making a reinforcer stronger, right, or depriving someone of something so they're willing to work for it. But it goes the other way too, right? If Greg is not letting himself drink, well, his motivation to drink on the days he can is likely going to be higher. And why is that? Is it satiation? Well, no, what is satiation? Satiation is having your fill, right? You've had enough, okay? If you eat 3 pieces of chocolate cake, you're most likely satiated on chocolate cake. So it's not A. Deprivation. What is deprivation? Deprivation is depriving yourself of something, right? You're not allowed to have something. If I tell you you can't have any chocolate cake for a whole week, well, the next week, your desire for chocolate cake might increase. I deprived you. Well, that's what Greg's doing here, right? He's depriving himself of alcohol during the weekdays and making the motivation to drink the alcohol higher on Friday and Saturday, okay? So most likely due to deprivation, are Greg's urges higher on Friday and Saturday? Deprivation is good, right? That's probably our answer. Read the answer choice, the rest of the answer choices. Discriminative stimuli. No, we're not talking about SDs here. Okay, there's nothing signaling reinforcements available. It's just Greg's urge and motivation, right? And then extinction. Are we putting anything on extinction? Well, maybe you're arguing, well, he's putting his alcohol drinking on extinction during the weekdays. But what's the key with extinction? Extinction occurs 100% of the time, right? In a perfect world, right? We want extinction to occur 100% of the time. Greg's still allowing himself reinforcement Friday and Saturday. Therefore, this is not extinction, okay? Most likely due to deprivation. So follow-up question. Okay, I thought it would be a good time to reinforce this idea of satiation and deprivation. When do we use satiation and when do we use deprivation? What are we manipulating? Think about the task list. There's an item on the task list that says what? RBTs must understand how to manipulate antecedents, MOs, and SDs, okay? When we're manipulating what, are we using satiation and deprivation? Well, we just talked about it. What was Greg manipulating by depriving himself of alcohol? Was he manipulating consequences? No. Satiation and deprivation are antecedent interventions, okay? So we're not manipulating consequences. Therefore, we're not manipulating reinforcers. Those are both consequences, okay? A and B are out. That leaves us with discriminative stimuli, SDs, or motivating operations, MOs. Satiation and deprivation relate to SDs or MOs. Well, MOs, right? What does satiation and deprivation do? They alter the value of whatever you're depriving someone of or satiating on them on, right? If I let you play video games for 12 hours straight, I might be satiating you on video games. Okay, so when we have to go out to shop, your motivation to play video games is hopefully lower. Okay, I'm trying to manipulate the motivation, the motivating operations through satiation and deprivation. Okay, remember we have MO, SD, then the response. Okay, MOs become before SDs. MOs alter the value. They make you want something or make you not want something. Okay. SDs signals that thing is available. It says that thing is available. Okay. So satiation and deprivation are used when manipulating motivating operations. It is important to maintain a respectful and communicative relationship with your supervisor. Which of the following scenarios would be inappropriate for a supervisor to request of an RBT? Okay, so you should have or attempt to have a good relationship with your supervisor. You're going to be working very closely with them, okay? You want to understand each other. You want to respect each other. However, supervisors should not take advantage of RBTs. Do not let yourself be taken advantage of. The only thing your supervisor should be requesting of you is stuff in your job description, okay? You should not be asked to do things that aren't part of your job. You don't get paid for those things, okay? You might not be qualified for those things, okay? It could be unethical in many situations, okay? The only things you should agree to as an RBT are things in your job description, okay? Things you're qualified for. So in this question, which of the following scenarios would be inappropriate for a supervisor to request of an RBT? What would be inappropriate for them to ask you to do if you were an RBT? A, your supervisor asks you to run by their house and pick up something they forgot before you head to session. What's wrong with that? Is it in your job description to play assistant, right? Are you there to get them coffee and pick up things from their house and things like that? No. Now, if you're doing it, as a friend, right, out of the kindness of your heart, if you're getting coffee, you want to buy them coffee, That's another thing, right? But if they're just simply saying, hey, you're my RBT, you need to go get my stuff, okay, that is inappropriate. Okay, they don't have that authority over you, right? They have a supervisor RBT relationship where, in the context of our treatment, okay, they have authority over you, but you're not their assistant. Okay, so A would be inappropriate. B, your supervisor comes down with the flu. They ask you to take over the supervisor role for the next couple, let's just say the next couple of weeks while they recover. This is definitely inappropriate. Okay, you should never be put in this position where, as an RBT, you're now acting as a supervisor. Okay, you're not qualified. You're not paid like a supervisor. Okay, you're not. You don't have certifications. Okay, you're not trained. You should never be put in this situation. Okay, if you're ever asked to become a supervisor while just being an RBT, okay, you might want to go somewhere else. Okay, B is definitely inappropriate. Good example here of why you always read all your answer choices. Okay, A was a good answer. If we had stopped there and just picked A, well, we might have missed this question. Always read all the answer choices, even when you know immediately you have the right one. Okay. B, of course, is also inappropriate. What about C? Your client's mom has questions about her son's diet. Your supervisor instructs you to research diets and autism and relay that information to the client's mom. Again, not your job, not your role. Okay, you're not obligated to go home and research these items that really your supervisor should be researching. Okay, these type of questions are supervisor questions, diet and academics and health and medicine and things like that. Those are things your supervisor should be doing. Okay, they should not be asking you to do their research for them. Okay, and especially not relay that to the client's mom. Again, not in your scope, not in your job description. Don't let yourself be taken advantage of. Okay, have a good, respectful relationship with your supervisor. Okay, but know when to draw the line. All right. So, which of the following scenarios would be inappropriate? D, all the above. A major component of discrete trial training is delivering feedback after a response or non-response is given. Which of the following answer choices would be the best way to deliver feedback for correctly engaging in the target behavior of answering what is 2 plus 2? So what is the question asking? Okay, kind of a confusing question a little bit, right? Well, all they're asking is, how would you deliver feedback? Okay, what's the proper and appropriate way for delivering feedback for answering the target behavior of answering 2 plus 2? What is 2 plus 2? Okay, so we have 4 options here, right? 4 examples of feedback. We want the best one. A, nice job sitting in your chair. You earned a token. What's wrong with A? Well, what's our target behavior? Our target behavior is answering what is 2 plus 2. What did we reinforce? Sitting in the chair. Okay. Now, if that's also a target behavior, okay, that's one thing. But based on the information that we know, and that's how we answer the questions, we only use the information they give us. Don't add information to the questions, right? What we know is our target behavior, our only target behavior is what is 2 plus 2. A, we are not reinforcing that target behavior. We are reinforcing sitting in chair, okay? Therefore, A is not the best way to do this. B, yes, that is correct. You earned a token. What's wrong with B? Well, what are we reinforcing, right? You always label your target behavior, okay? Yes, that is correct. What is correct? I don't know, right? Client might not know. Always label the thing you're reinforcing. B, we're not doing that, okay? So B is also not the best. C, yes, 2 plus 2 does equal 4. You earned a token. That's great, right? You praise them, you deliver tokens, you state the target behavior, okay? You identify the target behavior in your feedback, which is perfect, okay? C is very good, right? D, the answer is 4, but you were fidgeting, so you did not earn a token. Oh, careful here, right? I've seen this done a million times where our target behavior is what is 2 plus 2, and yet we're going to penalize or punish them for something else, okay? This mistake is made often in schools, but often in ABA, okay? Why does it matter if they're fidgeting if all we need them to do is answer 2 plus 2? Never forget your target behavior. Now, D, you just punished answering what is 2 plus 2, okay? You didn't deliver that token, right? Give them the token, okay? And then address the fidgeting later with your BCBA or your supervisor, okay? But when we're running DTT or we're running NET or whatever we're doing, focus on your target behavior, okay? Worry about the other behaviors in due time. So the best answer here to deliver feedback is C. Yes, 2 + 2 does equal 4. You earned a token. Every Christmas Eve, Juan's parents tell him he must stay in bed until his clock reads 6 a.m. or else Santa won't be able to deliver his presents. As soon as Juan's clock reads 6 a.m., Juan runs downstairs to see what Santa brought. Juan's clock displaying 6 a.m. is a what for Juan running downstairs? Okay, so what is Juan's clock? What is happening when Juan sees this clock? Okay, so break it down, right? Juan knows he must stay in bed until 6 a.m. Okay. As soon as he reads 6 a.m., Juan runs downstairs. So what's the behavior here? Well, Juan running downstairs to see what Santa brought. What's the consequence? Juan seeing what Santa brought. So what do we need? We need our MOs and SDs. Well, does the alarm clock change Juan's motivation, right? Does it alter the value of getting up? Or is Juan already highly motivated to get up? Juan is already highly motivated, okay? But he knows reinforcement isn't available until that clock reads 6 a.m., okay? And when that clock reads 6 a.m., what is it doing? It's signaling to Juan that reinforcement is now available. So when something signals that reinforcement available, it's a what? It's an SD, okay? Hopefully you got this question right. I like these MOSD questions, right? I think that's the foundation. Reinforcement question, punishment questions, MOs, SDs, I think are the foundation, okay? If you can start getting those right, you're really on your way, okay, to passing the exam and becoming a great RBT, okay? So I hope you enjoyed these questions. Please like and subscribe if you did, okay? That helps me out a lot. I appreciate it. Check out our study materials, rbtexamreview.com. Any questions or comments, let me know. I'm happy to help. Enjoy this first week of school if you did go back to school. If you still have a couple weeks, enjoy these last weeks of summer. Other than that, stay safe, study hard, and I'll see you soon.